Hey everybody, this is going to be my review of my new to me 2015 Honda F6B Deluxe. Here are a few things that I wish somebody had done in a review before I bought the bike. I did a lot of research and I looked at a lot of videos, and everybody has a different take on it, but here's a few things. For me, the saddlebags were a huge surprise. They are huge. There is so much space. It's probably even worth kind of showing you. There's a key back here, and you open this lever. There is so much space inside. I can have all my tools and my tire tools, my first aid and my camping stuff, my lighter fluid and kindling, and a jacket and a raincoat, and stuff it all back in the corner, and it's pretty good. Here's something bad I didn't know. There's not a lot of ground clearance. I have the suspension set at one of the highest settings to give me the most clearance. It only raises up the rear. It doesn't really raise up the front too much, but that's not much clearance. And I found out the hard way going over just a slight grade. In fact, the grade into this little garage where I'm at now, this is not much of a ramp right here. And I can scrape that front going up this tiny little ramp. This not much of a ramp. Anyway, the headlights are easy to get to. I changed out the headlights to, can you see down there? Maybe not. Let me try this. There's a hole where you can get your arm to work on the headlights. You have to do it all by feel. Apparently, it's enormously difficult to get to the high beams, the upper beams. To get to the upper beams, you apparently have to take all of this off and a bunch of fairings off, and you have to take your glove box out, or your ignite. I don't remember what all. It was insane. So I've only switched out the low beams to LED. A couple other things. There's not a lot of handlebar space. I'm used to being able to mount GPS and several other things. Apparently I'm lucky that this bike already had Healy bars installed, so I have this cross member. I'm not 100% sure, but I think on a stock handlebar I wouldn't have that. The heated glove thing, heated handlebar works, but the handlebars were so skinny, my hand cramped. I put these Kuryakin handlebar covers over that are supposed to work with heated grips, but not a lot of heat comes through. My hand kept hitting the emergency engine cutoff, so I sort of taped it in place. So it takes real effort to turn it off now. You could still do it in emergency, but you're not gonna just bump it and have it go off. Here's the other thing I didn't know. I've ridden bikes for 35 years. I have no problem touching bikes. Any big bike. I've ridden a Rocket 3, I've ridden a Valkyrie. But this bike, when I sit on the damn thing, if I'm sitting flat-footed, say like at a traffic light, with my left foot down, then I go to put my right foot down, only the toe touches. That's it. I can't flat foot on this bike. That's one of the reasons I got rid of the Corbin saddle and put this Ultimate on. It was supposed to help you touch a little better. I don't know if it actually does. If it does, it's not much better. What it does do is the Corbin cut out for the back of your lower back was about an inch or two further back. This pushes you forward, and so I guess you are at the more narrow part of the seat, but now you feel cramped. So now I'm going to have to adjust all my handlebars forward a little bit, which I can do because of the Healy bars. But with stock bars, you couldn't do it, and this would be terrible. Okay, other things about the bike. It's fast, it's smooth, it's nimble, all the stuff you would expect. It was harder to control at low speed than I thought it would be. Not because it was tippy or too heavy, but just because it was hard to touch, and the speed's real funny. When you first start the bike, in fact, I'll start it and show you. It's been off long enough. When you first start the bike, I guess it does a thing where it warms itself up. And I'm not used to bikes that do that. I'm used to having a manual choke. So you can see the RPMs are pretty high. Now, when the temperature needle starts moving, the RPMs will drop. But until then, like if you need to maneuver right now, you have way too much power in first gear because of the RPMs already being high. So it's easier to put the bike in second gear to do low speed maneuvers. And I've just been putting it in second gear all the time for most of my low speed maneuvers, and that seems to help a lot. I'm not going anywhere just yet, so I'll go ahead and turn it back off. Well, you can already see the RPMs are already coming down. And they'll continue to come down to like 700 or so, give or take. And once the RPMs come down, of course, it's a little easier to maneuver even in first gear. But that was a trick I didn't know at first and kind of messed me up a couple times. The only other thing that I wish somebody would have stressed to me is how annoying the maintenance is. If you want to adjust the suspension, the adjustment lever is here. To take this fairing off, you first have to take the seat off, then open the saddlebag, and there's something in there, and then you can take this fairing off from the back and get to it. Anything else on the bike is harder to get to than that. So you want to change the air filter for the engine intake. It's somewhere down in here. So I've watched videos where people are taking all of this stuff off, the box here, the glove box, the ignition. I mean, golly, they tear the bike almost down to its frame just to change the air filter. So they typically put in a K&N and only change it once a year. But still, that's something, if you're looking into this bike, you might not know. So I wanted an upgrade to a Valkyrie. This is kind of the same engine. It's a Boxer 6, so it was my natural step up. Not quite a Goldwing, but a little bit better than a Valkyrie. The GL 1500s anyway. And it is a step up. I do like it. I've taken it to Mexico. I've taken it to San Antonio from Houston. Everything is nice, smooth on the road. Just be aware, maintenance is going to take a few hours to do anything. And if you are 5'10" like me with 30-inch inseam, I don't know what saddle to tell you. I know the Corbin dual tourer is terrible. It's hard as a rock, and the outside edges kind of come up, which makes you feel like you're doing the splits. At least with this Ultimate Mid Rider, they sort of have it contoured where your leg kind of goes down instead of sticking out. So I think I feel a little lower to the ground on this, but I've only had it on today, so time will tell on that. When I'm riding for a long time, I do like sitting on the passenger seat and putting my feet on the passenger peg just to sort of stretch out and then pop back down, of course, when it's safe to do so. There's a long stretch of straight road or whatever. I think that's everything I meant to tell you about this bike that I wish I had known before I bought it. I might just mention one more thing. You guys that ride different bikes probably already know this, or if you have a big bike with a fairing, you already know this. I did not know. I'm used to sitting on a bike and being able to see the front tire. When I'm sitting on this bike, all I can see are buttons, none of which I've ever used any of these, because it goes to the two front speakers and you can't hear them above 30 miles an hour, so I really don't know what the point of any of those are. But anyway, you can't see where your wheel is at on the road, and that took some getting used to. Feel like I should kind of do a summary here. For me personally, I still own my Valkyrie, my 99 GL 1500C. Between the two, I favor this bike. It's smoother, faster, more nimble, even than the Valkyrie, which was already a smooth, fast, nimble machine. The storage is better. I just like the lines better. Of course, it doesn't hurt that it's 15 years younger, so hopefully in better overall shape. I like the lights better, even with the incandescent beams for the high beams and the LEDs for the low beams. It still puts out a better spread, and I haven't added the fog lights yet. Are eventually going to go down in there when the budget allows for that. So overall, this to my mind is an upgrade, and I'm planning to keep it. And since I don't need two big fat touring bikes, sell the Valkyrie. Sadly, sell the Valkyrie. Maybe.